Hi guys, Johnny DC here from the Dynamic Duel podcast.
And I'm his twin brother, Marvelous Joe.
And we're going to teach you guys how to play our card game, Dynamic Duel War.
The game is heavily inspired by the original card game War, wherein two players compare card values against each other. The losing card is captured by the winner, and the first player to capture all of their opponent's cards wins the game.
But in a Dynamic Duel twist, the card's values are determined by a pair of dice, randomized and unpredictable. Like the simulations we run in our show, the average value should turn up the most often, though there are certainly chances for the occasional upset.
Right, considering that there's 6 different ways to roll a 7, but only one way to roll a 2 or a 12. It's not exactly a normal distribution bell curve like our Monte Carlo simulations, but pretty close.
We know, you didn't sign up for math class. Some of this may not make sense just yet, but the game itself is actually pretty simple to play. Once you get the hang of it, a full game should last 30 to 45 minutes.
First, let's take a look at what's included in the game. You should have 2 decks, a blue deck of DC cards, and a red deck of Marvel cards. Each deck comes with 50 hero cards and 2 game rules cards. You will need a pair of 6-sided dice to play the game, which are not included.
The cards that you'll be playing with are called hero cards. On it, you'll find the hero's image and name, their dice roll chart, and its corresponding attack value chart. On the top right, you'll see the card's level icon as well as its support power description. The support powers are only used during a war in the game, only by your support cards. More on that later.
There are 2 ways to set up Dynamic Duel War, depending on if you want to play a full game with full decks or a short game with half decks. The gameplay is the same regardless of what you choose. If you want to learn how to evenly split your deck into a half deck so that it is balanced with your opponent's half deck, then we'll refer you to the end of this video where we include that extra setup step as sort of an appendix for those that want to play that way.
To start, each player will select a deck to play with. I'll be playing with the blue DC deck.
And I'll be playing with the red Marvel deck, naturally.
Shuffle your deck and place the deck face down in front of you. This is your draw pile. Your draw pile will always be face down in the center.
Draw your top hero card and place it face up above your draw pile. This is your fighter card, the one you'll be rolling for. Now that we each have our starting fighters, we're ready to play.
To fight, roll your dice. Consult your fighter card's dice roll chart and locate the number you rolled. Below that number is your attack value. In this case, I rolled a 7, so my attack value is 11. Declare your attack value out loud to your opponent. I got an 11.
8 for me. Okay, so in this case, since Johnny got the higher attack value, he wins. The winning fighter card is placed in the winning player's discard pile to the right of the draw pile. All cards in the discard pile are placed face up. The losing fighter card is placed in the winning player's capture pile to the left of the draw pile. All cards in the capture pile are placed face down. And that's the end of that turn. Gameplay continues on like this, where you draw a fighter card, roll for its attack value, compare it to your opponent's, and winning cards are discarded and losing cards are captured. Eventually, you will run out of cards in your draw pile. At that point, shuffle your discard pile, which is face up, and place it face down in front of you. Now it's your new draw pile.
Now that we know the basics of regular gameplay, let's find out how we instigate and fight in a war. A war is played with support cards, which have support powers that affect gameplay for that turn.
There are 2 different ways to instigate a war: a doubles war and a regular war. A doubles war occurs when either player rolls doubles. Like here, I just rolled 2 5s. When that happens, I declare my attack value, followed by the word doubles. In this case, I would say 13 doubles, so that my opponent knows that our next turn will be a war. When instigating a doubles war, the turn still plays out normally, where the winning card is discarded and the losing card is captured. Note that rolling doubles during the course of an existing war does not instigate a new war. To set up a doubles war, first draw a new fighter card. Then draw 3 more hero cards and place them below your fighter. These 3 cards are your support cards, who are able to use their support powers to affect gameplay.
The other type of war is just a regular war, though it comes with a little higher stakes because there's an additional card on the table. It is instigated when you and your opponent get the same attack value. In this case, we both rolled an attack value of 8. Because we tied, there is no winner. No cards are discarded or captured, and we go straight into the next turn, which is a war.
To set up a regular war, first draw a new fighter card and place it on top of the current fighter card. Then draw 3 more hero cards and place them below your new fighter. Again, these 3 cards are your support cards.
Note that unlike a doubles war, a regular war can be instigated during the course of an existing war. If you and your opponent get the same attack value again, first place all of your support cards on top of the current fighter card. Then draw a new fighter card and place it on top of the current fighter card stack. Then draw 3 more hero cards and place them below your new fighter card as your new support cards.
Now that we know how to instigate and set up a war, let's fight one. Time to delve into the support powers. Before rolling for your fighter card's attack value in the war, first refer to your support card's support powers to see how they will affect the gameplay. We'll break down how each one works, but know that all support powers are optional. There will be instances in which you will not want to, or even be able to, use them.
First, there's the assist support power. This power lets you add 1 to your fighter card's attack value after rolling. It can be applied each time you roll this turn, if you happen to be able to roll more than once.
Then there's evade. This lets your support card be discarded into your discard pile. Why would you want to do that? Well, it prevents it from being captured if you lose the war.
Next, there's protect. This lets you discard your current fighter card and draw a new one if you want. It's risky, but if you have a low-level card, the potential benefit is more than worth it.
Recover is an interesting support power. It basically gets back one of your hero cards taken by your opponent straight from the top of their capture pile to your discard pile.
And finally, there's save, which lets you re-roll your dice once for a new attack value. Really, you'll only need to use this if you don't already have a winning attack value. If the attack values are tied after your initial rolls, then you may choose to use your save support power to try and roll a higher attack value, or you can choose not to and instigate another war instead.
Once you've played any applicable support powers, continue the war by rolling for your fighter's attack value and apply any additional support powers if necessary.
Once the final attack values are determined for the fighter cards, the card with the higher value wins the war and is placed in the discard pile along with the winning player's support cards. The losing player's fighter card and support cards are given to the opponent to be placed in their capture pile. Ouch.
That's how you play the game. Now let's see how it ends. The game ends when one player captures all of the opposing player's hero cards. The first player to run out of hero cards to play with loses the game.
Toward the end of the game, players will run low on hero cards. If you cannot draw enough for a war, draw as many as you can. Shuffle your discard pile if necessary to create a new draw pile. The first card is your fighter card. Any subsequent cards are your support cards.
If your opponent can't draw a new fighter from their draw pile, can't create a new draw pile from their discard pile, absolutely has no cards left, then you win. Congrats! And if you didn't win, just blame the dice and flip the table.
Don't actually flip any tables though. You now know everything you need to in order to play the game, but let's go over some frequently asked questions for those who may have them. What happens if a war is instigated while I'm already in a war and I have no cards left in my draw pile or discard pile?
If you're in a war and have no more hero cards left to start a new one, then take your current fighter card and any support cards that you may have in play, shuffle them, and treat this shuffled hand as your new draw pile. Lay down your new fighter card first, and any remaining cards become your new support cards. What kind of war is instigated if my opponent and I get the same attack value and one of us rolls doubles?
Since you both have the same attack value, there can be no winning card or losing card. In that case, a regular war is instigated, despite doubles being rolled. How do I know when to use my support powers?
In almost every case, you'll want to use your support powers before you and your opponent roll for your attack values, and the outcome is determined. Except in the case of the save support power, which can only be used after your initial roll, and really only needs to be used if you have a losing attack value. Again, if you're in a war and your attack values are tied, you can choose to use your save roll to try and win, or you can choose not to and force another war.
If you have any other questions regarding Dynamic Duel War, email us at dynamicduelpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll include the answer in this video's description.
To learn how to get the game, become a patron of ours by visiting patreon.com/dynamicduel. We hope you enjoy the game.
Up, and away!
True believers.